5 years ago, I set my goal to make more money. However, I had a problem. I was very good at making plans, but not so good at putting them into action. When it came time to act, I felt stuck. When I managed to take the first step, I couldn't maintain consistency. After many self help books and internet tips on how to stop procrastinating, one thing became clear: setting smart goals, making a to do list, setting a 25-minute tomato shaped timer, and all the other strategies weren't working. Once I read a quote that said, "Lessons in life will be repeated until they are learned." Clearly, I was missing something. Why couldn't I get out of this phase of procrastination? After many failed attempts and an intense analysis, I realized there were some mistakes that always led me to procrastinate. Focus on the result. I decided to start a YouTube channel, and what better way to begin than by talking about procrastination? After all, it was a topic I was quite familiar with. I knew what I needed to do. I had to write a script, edit the video, create a title, and make a thumbnail. How hard could it be? A spoiler, a lot. I started writing the script. I didn't know how to do it. I was lost. I decided to start anyway, but it wasn't turning out well. I decided to rewrite it. It still wasn't good. After that, I decided to watch a series on Netflix. A quick break that ended up taking the whole day. I wanted to escape the unpleasant feeling of seeing that my skills were nowhere near where I wanted them to be. Starting something new and focusing on the result is the perfect recipe for procrastination. At the beginning of any project, we have a high level of effort for a low level of result. It's not something pleasant. And if there's one thing I've picked up from all the self help books I've read, it's this: when an action makes us feel good, we keep doing it. But when it makes us feel bad, we avoid it. In other words, we procrastinate. When you're stuck in procrastination, just focus on getting yourself moving. Don't worry about how long it takes or what the outcome will be. If you've taken a step, even a small one, you've already overcome procrastination. My measure of success was no longer the result of my actions. It was the action itself. Every day I spent working on my video was a victory, even if the results weren't what I wanted. I was getting a little closer each day. Seeing that progress felt great, and because of that, it became easier to repeat. So, if you don't want to procrastinate for the rest of your life, focus on taking action first and only worry about improving the results later. It's that old cliche that's a cliche because it's true. You don't have to be good to start, but you have to start to get good. Skip levels. When you start a game, you always begin at the first level, where the challenges match your initial skill level. As you progress through the levels, the difficulty increases, as does your skill. Every time I lost to procrastination, it was because I tried to skip ahead. When I decided to make this video, I was committed to giving it my best. My goal was to focus on it for 2 hours every day. However, I was in a phase of my life where procrastination had become a routine. At any sign of discomfort, I would escape to social media. My ability to focus was minimal. You don't need to be a genius to predict what happened. I failed my goal on the very first day. I felt like a failure. I wondered if I really had the capability to do what was needed. After a week of feeling sorry for myself, I decided to adopt a different strategy. I would start the game again, but this time from the very beginning. I set a new goal: to work on my video every day for just 10 minutes. It didn't matter what I would produce in those 10 minutes. I just needed to do something. That day I achieved my goal, and I continued to do so in the days that followed. Something incredible happened. Some days I focused for just 10 minutes, and that was it. However, on other days, when I was more motivated, I worked for 2 or even 3 hours. For the first time, I had exceeded my expectations. Many people talk about the importance of ambitious goals, but not much is said about the power of a goal you can actually achieve. Tim Ferriss, author of the best-selling productivity book, talks about the importance of getting early wins in the process. It boosts dopamine levels and increases your self-confidence. In this way, you become more motivated to continue. So, whenever I'm in a phase of procrastination, I set a ridiculously easy goal. Once I keep up consistently with that goal, I move on to the next phase. The secret to overcoming procrastination is to start with easy goals and then make them harder as you get better. Take advice from the internet. I wanted to end procrastination in my life. After all, it was the reason for my lack of results. After feeling like a failure for a long time, I realized something that changed everything. Procrastinating didn't mean I was a procrastinator forever. It just meant that something about the task made me uncomfortable, and at that moment, I didn't know how to handle it differently, so I ended up procrastinating. The answer was clear. I needed to find new ways to deal with discomfort. Like any normal person, I went online to find answers to my problem. I tried many strategies that promised to cure procrastination, but they weren't working. After banging my head against the wall, I realized it wasn't working for a simple reason. I didn't know what was causing my discomfort. Following tips randomly is like starting a treatment without having diagnosed the problem you have. The discomfort that a task causes can have various causes, and for each cause, there's a better way to handle it. After understanding this, I began a process of introspection. When I did this exercise, I saw that there were several reasons why I procrastinated, and for each reason, there was a strategy that worked better. So began the process of piecing together the puzzle. Every time I procrastinated, I would stop and ask myself, what was bothering me about this task? As I developed my hypotheses, I tested different strategies until I found the one that fit my problem best. The truth is, overcoming procrastination isn't about never procrastinating. It's about not giving up until you complete what you set out to do. If you want to procrastinate for the rest of your life, keep blindly following the tips you find on the internet. But if you want to get out of this trap, start by looking inside yourself, because that's where you'll find most of the answers. I won't say I've cured my procrastination because that wouldn't be true. However, I'm winning more battles than before. This is the big secret. To win a game, you don't need to score every point. You just need to win most of them.